Hey, can you talk? Oh my God, I can't right now. What's up? The craziest thing just happened. I don't know what to do. I know what you should do. Call into Southern Gossip. Talk about it with Stu.
Well, hello. I'm coming in hot today with this outfit. I don't know what made me want to wear this like mermaid-esque fit. I think it's because it's supposed to be 80 degrees here today. And I'm like, finally, summer, I am alive. But I do have this little jean jacket in case I get a little chilly. I don't want to be nipping out on camera. Hi, that was quite the intro. Welcome back to episode 4 of my podcast, Southern Gossip. I literally even saying that, I'm like, how are we on the 4th episode? That means I've been doing this for 4 solid weeks now, which is, oh my God, it's just kind of crazy. It's like, once you just kind of start something, it makes it so much easier. But the thing about podcasting, and I love, they always say this on one of my favorite podcasts, Ride, they're like, the thing that nobody tells you about podcasting is that you have to keep doing it. So it's like, oh my God, Wednesday is almost here. I've got to make sure the episode drops. And it's honestly such a treat because, like I kind of mentioned last time, it's like I get to just record this when I feel like I have something genuine that I want to say and share. And I am actually really... It's going to sound, warning, what I'm about to say that I want to talk to you about for session 1 is going to sound kind of morbid, but it's not. It's actually a very happy and positive thing. And hopefully if my guest for session 3 answers the phone, I think it ties in so well kind of with like their story too. You're like, who is this person? Who is this ghost? Also, I have to apologize. My voice is absolutely shot to hell. If you can believe it, this is the best it sounded in like 3 days. Like my allergies have been so bad. They've been kicking my ass. And I finally got my voice back a little bit today, but yesterday it was just like this. And I was like, it's really lovely that my career is based on my voice and I sound like Gollum. But anyways, welcome back to Southern Gossip. My name is Stu. Every single week, every single Wednesday, this show, the goal of it is really to reclaim the true meaning of gossip in its original form, which was to be a confidant and somebody that was like a true friend to you. And that's who I want to be for my listeners. Please, if you would, if you haven't called in yet and you've got some tea you want to share, you want my advice on something, you've got just something you need to vent about because your friend didn't pick up the phone, please call the hotline, which is 413-351-4677, which spells GOSS as in GOSS, gossip. And please, my God, if you would follow the show on Spotify, follow me on Apple. I think you basically subscribe to the show on Apple, and then you can follow me on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Amazon. I'm pretty much everywhere. And if you would, I mean, the thing that will make this show hopefully grow into something much larger is sharing the show with your friends or your family, someone that you think might genuinely enjoy it and would even like to call in. That would be awesome. We're calling ourselves the sippers, or the listeners of this podcast. So come on, come in and come sip some tea, sip some wine, this is some lemonade out of this Turbis freaking tumbler. If I don't get a sponsorship, I've never had one in my whole life on my own outside of Creep Time. So let's just go ahead and manifest Turbis tumbler being my first sponsor ever. That would be incredible. Okay. Let me take my shoes off. Kick these heels off. Okay. What I want to, I'm like checking myself out. I'm like, do not have a wardrobe malfunction episode 4. That would be kind of incredible, actually. What I wanted to gossip about for session 1, I was having such a kind of weird, like mixed emotion of a day where you ever have these days where it's like all of a sudden, like your life flashes before your eyes. It's like sometimes you get these moments where you actually have real alone time and solitude. And it's like, wait, how did I get here? And I think it's a Monday that I'm recording on. So I think I was thinking about all the things I got to get done today and what I want to record, what I want to talk about. And I just had this moment where I was like, I am in this room with all this podcasting equipment, and I never thought I would ever be a podcaster. So how did I get here? And I think what I wanted to just talk about is this concept that I've had in my head for a long time. And like, I've even thought to myself, I'm like, God, if I ever wrote a book, this might even be like a part of it or a chapter. I don't think I would name the book this because it sounds bad, but like, it's okay to let a dream die. And what I mean by that is I always thought I was going to be an actor. I wanted to be on Broadway. And I can very specifically remember my older brother when I was living in New York and I was auditioning and I was like fully in the grind. He was like, do you think you'd ever give up? And I was like, no, I never would. Are you kidding me? Like, this is my dream. I must make this happen. And then there was a moment I had joined, the Actors Union, which I thought was a step in the right direction. And by the way, part of why this is on my mind is because I got a notification today over email. It's like, hey, you need to pay your dues just to be in the union. I was like, life is so weird. But I remember saying that to him. And then I had a moment where things just weren't happening. And I am such a go-getter by nature. I'm very ambitious. And I remember thinking to myself, like, what am I doing wrong? I'm not doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing. I think I am, but I'm not. And it was like all of this self-doubt was just like dominating my mind. And there is a point of no return. I feel like when your self-doubt gets to the level that I had, or it's like a disease where like you're not functioning anymore. Like you're just kind of going about your day, just trying to make it to the end of the day and hope that the next day will be better. And I know that sounds really dark, but that's sort of how I felt because I had been on such a high of feeling like that is my purpose. That is going to be my trajectory. That's going to be my career. I know it. And so when it wasn't happening, I was just like, oh my God, like something changed, but the change had to come from me. And I think I kept thinking all these external forces, someone's going to discover me or somebody's going to like give me my big break. And that can happen with a lot of time. But I realized one day I can't handle it. I can't handle things not moving. There was no momentum anymore. And so I quite literally, I remember I went down to Atlanta. I was visiting my grandparents who lived there at the time. And I got on my laptop and I just started randomly applying to like different corporate jobs. And I was like, I have no experience, literally sending my acting resume off. And I remember I was on Indeed, sent a resume to this like random environmental company. They were the only hit that I got back. I ended up working there for like, I want to say almost 3 years, a little over 3 years. Worked my way up from being like starting as like an admin assistant, making nothing. And then by the time I left, I was essentially like their director of operations. And then I moved into my next corporate job. And so I was really like on the corporate, I was climbing that ladder. And it was so bizarre because it was not anything I ever expected for myself. But I think the reason why I want to share it is because obviously I'm a podcaster now. And how did that happen? And that happened because I had met someone I had done a show with, Silas Dean, who then connected with me and asked me to be a part of Creep Time. So it's like, had I not done that show, had I not done that tour, had I not pursued that dream, I would have never met him. I would have never been a part of Creep Time, most likely. And who knows if I would have ended up in podcasting, where I feel almost, I would say, more comfortable than I did on stage sometimes, and even more in myself and in my body and in my personality and like just being me. And I feel like that is what I have to offer the world, is me. And I was just constantly looking for somebody to give me a chance. And now it's so cool to be like, I'm giving myself the chance. I'm the one making progress happen. And so I know that sounds pretty like self-indulgent or whatever, but I feel like had somebody told me it's okay to, and I'm getting emotional because no one said to me, it's okay to like let your dream kind of die for a little bit. It's okay to let your dream kind of taper, because the really cool thing about life is that things boomerang back to you. And I truly believe that my intention in life is to share my personality, bring people joy, bring people happiness and laughter, even though I'm getting emotional right now. But I realize now that I think it was all going to come to me anyways. And so it was okay for me to let go and just accept change. And I'm so grateful that I did. So I think I was just feeling that this morning, because I was just like, gosh, I wish, and I hope that there's any listeners of this show that feel that way, that I'm so sorry. I think it's my allergies too. I think I'm like, I can't talk. But it's okay. It's okay to make a change. It's okay to make a career pivot at 25, 35, 45, 55, whatever you need to do. Change, I firmly believe, is the basis of all progress, even if it's not the perfect change or the change you envisioned. Like, even when you get there and you're like, oh, this job I just took because I didn't like my old job still kind of sucks. It's okay. Because I think any sort of momentum and moving yourself forward and having that agency from within yourself, not looking for someone to direct you or guide you, you doing that on your own, gets you to where you're eventually supposed to be. So, I don't know why that was on my mind. And again, I really don't want to make a habit of getting verklempt on the podcast, because I really am. When I say I'm a Pisces, I am a full Pisces. Like, anything basically will make me get emotional, but especially old people reminiscing. I'm a Pisces through and through. So what can I say? But I hope you're having a great week. I hope that me getting a little bit emotional lets you feel like you kind of experience that a little bit. If it's something that was on your mind, you can experience that through me, channel it through me, especially if you are somebody that doesn't cry, which, like, I talked to somebody recently that told me they hadn't cried since they were 5. And I was like, I haven't cried since 5 minutes ago. Shout out to those people. I'm like, are you okay? Like, come sit with me for an hour. I can make you cry. We can watch Up. We can watch Up. Okay. With that, let's get into the hotline.
Hi, Miss Stu. My name's Ella. I'm 20. I'm calling from Boone, North Carolina. I go to school here.
Oh my God.
I'm a huge Creep Time fan. I need some advice because I'm having trouble with my roommates. I live with 2 girls, and one of them, we started off as friends, and now we just don't talk. She didn't wish me a happy birthday. She never texts me. She ignores me when we pass by each other in the apartment, and I have no idea where it came from. I've tried to talk to her, and she just says she's busy or she doesn't want to talk, and I guess it just really makes me feel uncomfortable in my own, apartment, because I just can't be around her in the same way that I used to when we first moved in. So if you have any advice on how to talk to her about that, it would help a lot. Thank you. Bye.
Oh man, Ella. Well, first of all, you must go to App State. Oh God, is it Mountaineers? Go Mountaineers. My brother went there and he eventually transferred to State. So, but he loved App. I think he just transferred because he wanted to be closer to home, which you're like, who cares? Tell me about my roommate. Okay. Ooh, that's so tough. You know what's funny is I can't think if I ever had in college. I certainly had a floor, some friends that lived on the floor beneath us, and they had some roommate drama because one of them would always come up to our apartment to like basically seek refuge. So, girl, I feel you. That is tough to go through. I wonder if it would be fun for you to maybe invite her to go do something that like y'all used to really love to do, which I don't know if there's like a poppin' food spot on campus or something, but like if you really care about her and you're like, I kind of don't understand like what's going on, maybe just kind of inviting her to like come hang out with you and go do an activity together. Or even actually, you know what could be a good idea? Going on a hike sometimes or on a walk with somebody. If you're not staring directly at the person, but you're doing an activity like walking or even driving, sometimes people will feel like they can open up more because they're not like directly having to like confront you about something or have it feel confrontational. And I would just kind of ask, like, what's going on? Like, we live together. So if there's anything going on, I think, you should tell me because I want to be able to live peacefully and comfortably with you. And I want you to feel the same. Because here's the thing, it's not like the thing about college is it's you guys are probably doing a lot of stuff together. You are getting invited to parties or maybe share mutual friends. So it's not like adulthood where you can have a roommate you don't really get along with and you shut your door. College it's harder, and I totally empathize with you about that. So yeah, I would kind of be the one to kind of take the initiative if you feel comfortable and just make it a relaxing environment. Be like, hey, do you want to go? Like, I'm thinking because I went to Carolina, I'm like, there was a sandwich shop that like nobody could say no to. And I'd be like, hey, do you want to go to Merritt's and we can like go get some lunch and just chit chat? And like maybe on the drive over there, just be like, hey, is it like everything all good? Like I kind of have felt, some weird vibes or whatever. And just see if maybe driving together or walking gets her to open up a little bit more. That's worked for me in the past. And certainly let me know if that does work. And thank you so much for calling in. I so appreciate it. Okay.
Hi, Stu. This is your friend Sarah from NYC by way of North Carolina.
Hi, Sarah.
A little advice. So I have one of those friends, super independent, very successful professionally, not someone who usually loses herself in a relationship, which is why this is throwing me a bit. She recently moved away out of the country for her partner very suddenly, and they've been together less than a year. Everything seems fine. Like there's nothing glaring as a red flag, but I just have these like small inklings. And I keep thinking like, I wish someone had shaken me when I was deep in some of my past relationships, like Lord. But at the same time, I don't want to be that person that oversteps or projects. I've heard people say like you should see someone through all seasons of life before making decisions or just all seasons of the year. So this feels a little fast. But wondering how do you kind of balance trusting your friend, but also, maybe thinking something is off. Like, should I say something? Should I wait? Thank you. Love you much.
Oh God. Oh, that's such a hard one because trust me, I have been there. It really, I feel like boils down to, do you see this person having like a very serious future with this person? Or this friend having a very serious future with this person? Because I feel like if you're a true, true friend, you have kind of a duty to step up to the plate and call out to your friend. Maybe not call out, that sounds too aggressive, but like invite a conversation about some things you've noticed and just see if they're even on the same page as you. Because sometimes what it takes is just somebody pushing the door a little bit with their toe or something, just pushing it slightly. And then that person is like, I have something I need to share. And we all kind of go through this in relationships, right? Because none of us want to believe that we don't know how to choose people. I know I certainly have been there, but I have also been that friend that has said, are we good? And I would say that friend is thankful that I did say something because it, turned out to basically get them out of a really terrible situation. But you have to be really delicate about it. And I think you really have to read the room. And I think that you shouldn't go into that conversation expecting them to want to talk about it right away. I think sometimes conversations with friends about partners, you need to be delicate and kind of introduce it in stages. So, maybe if there was some questionable behavior you saw from their partner, maybe the first conversation is like, hey, like, were you cool with that? Like, I felt like you seemed a little off. And I just want to see like if when they did that, you were okay with it, because I certainly kind of felt a way, but I like them, but, or whatever, or actually don't lie. Don't say, I like them, but just say, I want to be the best friend I can be to you, but I just want to, basically invite a conversation in about that. And then slowly, I would say, just kind of have more conversations like that where you're bringing up maybe some behavior you've noticed, or when your friend seems down, asking them, is so-and-so being there for you right now? Or like, how do you feel like they're showing up for you? Because I do think you have to be really delicate when it comes to people's partners in order to make an actual impact. I think if you come in straight out the gate swinging, that's when people shut down. So I would say just take it in steps, unless it's something dreadful, unless you're like, they're going to like do something to them physically, then you can step in no matter what. And that's a totally different situation. But if it's just like little bits of questionable behavior, I would say introduce it in stages, the conversation, because your friend will arrive. Your friend will get there. Thank you so much, Sarah. Oh my God, I'm so sorry about my voice. And I'm sniffing, I'm huffing.
Hi, Stu. My name is Kirsten. I'm from Churubusco, Indiana. And I'm calling today for some advice. I'm currently managing a graphic shop, and I'm also starting up a little side business where I'm selling my own baked goods at markets and such. And so I didn't know if you could tell me like how you recommend me juggling both things without getting burnt out and also still enjoying what I love to do, because baking honestly is an outlet for me. And I just wanted to say that I'm a longtime creeper and I'm really excited for this podcast. All right. Thank you so much. Bye.
Oh, Kirsten, thank you so much for calling in. Thank you so much for being a creeper. Oh man, if there is something I do know about, it is about multitasking, multiple jobs or interests. Oh God, the biggest piece of advice I can give you is to try as much as you can to maintain a sense of peace and calm. And that might be saying no to certain things, saying no to certain projects. And I know that you are building a business and you're also, you enjoy doing your baked goods. I would say putting your energy towards whatever makes you like feel most fulfilled maybe that day, if you're juggling the two things at once, kind of prioritizing what tasks absolutely have to get done versus like what's sort of a nice to have task to get done. But ultimately, if you do that task today, is that just going to be, are you going to refill that to-do list with one more thing tomorrow and start stressing yourself out? I don't know if you're like this, but I am somebody that like has really had to learn how to just let things kind of die off that I can't absolutely get my hands around to do immediately. And I know that's really, a lot of that comes from like when you're building something on your own, like you want to just see it succeed so bad. but you can't lose your head. Like you cannot lose your sense of calm, your joy, your peace. So I would just say take it one day at a time, which I know is also very cliche advice, but like definitely I think it's helpful to map out your day. So for me, there's actually I forget what it's called. I think it's called the Eisenhower method, actually. If you're like with task-based things, especially if you're multitasking between the graphic design and the baking, I believe it's like 4 different quadrants of like tasks that you manage, but it's like things you have to do, things you would like to do, things you need to give to somebody else to do, and then things you have got to delete, like things that are on your mind that you have to just say la vie, like what will be, will be. And when I started doing that, it got so much easier to manage things. And I'm talking about managing my corporate job, managing creep time, and I'm still doing it, managing, Southern Gossip with that as well. And now, of course, you have to prioritize the things that have to get done to keep the lights on. So you can't let those things slide. But when it comes to the minutia, the things that if they don't get done, it's not the end of the world, you have to just be okay with that. Because ultimately, if your joy is coming through the product and your work, that will speak for itself. Or at least that's a firm belief of mine. And yeah, I would just say keep calm and carry on. And that's so exciting. And if you would comment on this episode and tell us what your graphic design business is. I know that the sippers would probably love to support you and your baked goods if there's a way to order those. So that's fantastic. And it's really a feat to keep your head and have multiple things happening at once. So kudos to you, girl, and just keep up the good work. And thank you for calling in.
Hey, Stu. This is Jules, and I'm from Pennsylvania. And I'm calling because I was a track and field athlete my whole life, and now I'm in my 20s, and I'm running my first marathon. But my problem is,
congrats.
when I go for a run, my body hates me and decides that it needs to and I'll be constipated for like a week, and then I'll run, and it's a nightmare. So as a fellow runner who I know you love clothes and everything like that, same here. I love a good like runner outfit. And I love feeling like confident and sexy when I run. Like, I feel really good about myself. But having to explosively that does it. So do you have any advice on either what I could do to train my bowels, or just how do I be confident and also having to shit myself? Because I really want to do this marathon, but I'm scared. So thank you so much. Hope you have an amazing day, and I look forward to hearing your advice on how to make this work for me. Bye.
Things I never thought I would give advice about: how to not shit yourself or how to control these bowels. Jules, you're an icon. You're a legend. Thank you for calling in. Okay, you know what really stinks is that Jules, I'm going to disappoint you in that I don't run races. I don't run long races. So I hate that I can't offer advice on how to control those bowels, other than what I do know is that people that run marathons, everybody is themselves. So don't feel embarrassed is what I think I would say to you, because it seems like from everything I've heard that that's just par for the course. So what I would say is maybe, this is either good advice or it's bad advice, and I'm sorry, but you might have to just be the guinea pig. You could just buy a fabulous fit for this marathon and be like, I actually cannot, like mentally, I cannot in this outfit because I love it so much. And if I in this outfit, then I'm going to be really mad at myself. And I feel like that could be an easy way to trick your mind into definitely not your pants while you're running. Also, definitely get a new fit because it'll make you feel confident and sexy while you're running, first of all. Is that really bad advice? That might be terrible advice. And if it is, and you run this marathon and you yourself in your favorite running outfit of all time, I personally will find a way to replace it. I really hope that doesn't happen. Also, comment in the episode. Let me know what marathon you're running. That is so inspiring and amazing. I am always so just like proud of my friends that run marathons. Again, maybe I will get there one day and I will be one of those people. But yeah, thank you so much for calling in, and I'm so proud of you, and you're going to kill the race.
Hi, Sue. My name is Lola. I'm originally from New Jersey, but I have originally moved I've just moved to the Florida Panhandle, and I'm in my 20s, and I'm struggling to make friends, especially in the South, coming from a very different culture. I know you've seen Real Housewives. That's literally how I grew up. So going from that to Deep South, I'm experiencing a lot of people not reciprocating the same energy that I'm giving them and not reaching out. And when I reach out to make plans, they never follow through, being really flaky. And so I'm wondering, do you think that that's part of just being in your 20s? And should I just let it slide as everyone's busy, everyone's got their own stuff going on? Or should I really work on only investing time in people who I think are worth it? Thank you so much for starting this podcast. I'm so excited. I love you. I love Silas. I'm a premium, and I can't wait to see where this goes. Bye.
Bye. Oh, Lola. Oh my gosh. It's funny. You're like my mom. Jersey girl moves down to the South. And I know for her, it was hard. I mean, she was 17, I think, at the time. But from what she's told me, it's a cultural shock for sure. Because the thing about people that live in the South is they're very, like I kind of said in episode 1, you keep your cards kind of close to your chest. People aren't really as straightforward as maybe you're probably used to being a Jersey gal. And people that live in the South can be a little bit of a slow burn in terms of getting to know them. But once you get to know them and once you find those really tried and true friends, oh my God, thick as freaking thieves. Because I feel something in the South that it actually I think is shared in New Jersey, loyalty. Okay. I feel people are super, super loyal and really will be there for you. You just have to, and I think you kind of answered your own question. You, I think, have to find the people that are worth your time. Just because you're moving to a new place doesn't mean that you have to kind of make concessions. I mean, I think for sure you have to put yourself out there more, but you don't have to cut corners in terms of the quality of the people that you want to hang out with or that you want to be friends with. You are fully within your right to go, that person wasn't quite my cup of tea. And you know what? That might be something you run into a lot just because there's a little bit of now Florida, that's a different, I don't even know if we technically call that the South. My best friend lives in Vero Beach, Florida. And I'm always is that really the South? Florida is kind of its own bag. We've also talked about it on Creep Time, so I feel you'll probably remember that. But and then there's at times where it's you meet somebody and they don't seem like your cup of tea at first, but you're so wildly different that it turns into a good friendship. But I think the basis of that is almost always a shared sense of humor. So I feel if you're finding that in someone, that's a great sign to kind of keep nurturing that friendship, finding people that make you laugh, make you feel comfortable. Even if they're not totally what you're used to vibe wise, I think that those people are definitely worth giving, a second chance to. But yeah, don't make yourself feel like you have to perform in order to be accepted by a group. I feel when I moved to DC, I didn't really do that, and I've been just fine. Did I make as many friends as I thought I would make? Probably not, but that's also kind of what happens when you move somewhere and you're in your, adult years. It's just a little bit harder because you don't have all those built-in friend groups from, college or high school, or just, having mutual friends that you've known for a long time that have introduced you to people. And that's that's always tough, like when you move to a new place and you're kind of starting from scratch. So I would just say, yeah, take your own advice. I would say don't cut corners and only, accept the types of people that you feel like you're vibing with and that you make you feel good is the thing. There can be a lot of gossip in the South and people looking at what you have and what you don't have and what you come from and don't that's a lot of noise. And I know that that also exists in New Jersey as well, but I feel like in the South that can be particularly important is like, who are you? Where'd you come from? Who's your family? And don't let any of that inform the quality of the people that you are bringing into your life. And I hope this is a really exciting chapter for you in Florida. I'm sure you're going to crush it. And yeah, I can't wait for Real Housewives of New Jersey to come back. So we'll be talking about it on Creep Time. So be sure to listen. Okay, we have time for one more, I think. Let me take a sip of this lemonade before my voice fully gives out. Okay, here we go.
Hey, okay, so I want to be anonymous, but I live in New Mexico, just leave it at that. I'm currently in the cannabis industry, and I am looking for a promotion, and one of the higher ups, I would say, he had mentioned that he would pass up on me for a promotion strictly off the fact that my eyebrows match the color of my hair, which is pink. Basically, I just want to say, what would you do in that situation? Because, I want this promotion, but if he's not going to, see my worth just based off my eyebrows, should I keep pursuing this promotion, or should I just say fuck it and not, worry about it? Again, cannabis industry, so I got to keep that in mind. I feel like that's a huge thing. But yeah, I want to be as anonymous as possible. But I think I stand out in the industry. But yeah, that's just the tea. Let me know what you think, girlie. Love you. Love the pod. Love everything you do. Thank you so much. Bye.
Love you, my anonymous cannabis king. Oh man, that's so tough. Oh, I don't like that. First of all, I just, it really stinks that that's still something that is so. Also, can I just say, especially in the cannabis industry, I feel like they wouldn't care that much, but it's kind of shocking that it's really your eyebrows that are, kind of feels like we're splitting hairs. However, what I will say is maybe hearkening back to session 1 of this episode, there were definitely times where I was kind of cutting my teeth and doing things that I didn't necessarily want to do, but I knew it would get me to that next thing, that next promotion. And I will say sometimes those are stepping stones to allow you to get to a spot where someday you're running your own cannabis company and you don't care if people have pink eyebrows and I don't know, pink underarm hair. They can dye that too. Someday that will allow you to get to the point where you're running your own thing. So I would just ask yourself, is the promotion really, really worth it? Is the money really good? And there will be a day, mark my words, my cannabis king, where you get to take a look back and think to yourself, if you don't say it to that person, look at where I am now, all with pink eyebrows. For now, if it's really important to get this promotion to get you to the level you want career-wise, I feel like dyeing your eyebrows just for a little bit of time isn't a huge deal. And then also, what happens if you dye your eyebrows, get the promotion, and dye them back? Is he going to rescind the promotion? Just a thought. But I say maybe just do it and then best revenge is your paper or whatever. Get your bag and eventually dye your eyebrows back to pink when this guy is long gone. So that's probably what I would do. I would do the thing that even though it feels like you're having to make a concession to someone when you don't want to, if it ultimately gets you to where you need to be the best version of yourself, where you don't have to answer to anybody, I think you can take that hit for just a little bit of time. With that, oh my God, if I can get through this episode, Lord have mercy. Hold on. With a voice still, I am going to go into session 3, and let me just tee this up. Hopefully this person answers. One of my closest, dearest friends, his name is Nash Jenkins. He is an acclaimed author. He wrote a book called Foster Date Explores the Cosmos. Foster Date Explores the Cosmos. And he kind of wrote this, from what I remember, and I'll clarify this with him on the phone, but wrote sort of the beginnings of a manuscript for this, I want to say a really long time ago. And then I remember that when we both were home during COVID in North Carolina, that he sort of, was still thinking about that manuscript and still trying to see, where could I take this? It was like a dream at that point still. And lo and behold, it is now an award-winning, acclaimed book. It has been optioned and is most likely going to be a Hulu series. And I know they just shot, the pilot, and he sort of had this crazy ride to success with this book. It's incredible. So please check it out if you would. It's such a good book. It's about like a kid that goes off to prep school in New Jersey. I won't give too much away, but gets involved with sort of an interesting crowd. It's a coming of age story. It's fabulous. But it's really taken off. It's become a success. And so I want to get Nash's perspective on kind of going back even to the first thing. Maybe that dream of his kind of turned into an ember. And how did he know to stick with it? Or like what kept motivating him to stick with it and stick it out? So I think that's what I'm going to ask him about. What's his advice to somebody that maybe has an idea or has a dream and how to not give up on it?
Hello?
I was going to say, Jim.
Are we live?
We're live. Is that okay? We're not really live. I'm like recording and I can always edit out.
Don't edit a damn thing.
Oh my God. I'm so happy to hear your voice. Also, my voice sounds like because I've had terrible allergies. So it's like amazing. This is my career. My voice sounds like grated cheese.
Your voice sounds like Orsur's flute. It is so lovely to hear it. I'm standing in the foyer of a coffee shop.
Oh my God.
Before I go to physical therapy for my dislocated knee.
What happened to your knee?
Do you really want to know the story? It's like,
yeah.
It's so humiliating and it's the most me thing ever. So, Eugenia, and for listeners who don't know, if this ends up in the episode, my youngest sister, Eugenia, moved to London in September with her boyfriend, Eli. And in February, I went to visit them. And her plan was to then go skiing in the French Alps.
Oh my God.
I'm pacing and I have my AirPods in, but it's a little windy. So if the wind is interfering with my voice, just tell me. So anyway.
No, you sound clear as day.
Clear as day. So I get there Wednesday morning and our plan is to fly to Geneva and then drive to the Alps on Friday morning. Thursday night, I get us tickets to go see the Book of Mormon. So I'm walking into the theater, about to take my seat. And this like very old English man has his feet in the aisle and I'm not looking where I'm going. And I trip over his feet.
Oh no.
And the next thing I know, I am on the ground and this is going to be a little bit graphic. Through the outside of my jeans, I can see my kneecap is sticking out at like a right angle.
Oh my God.
It's unbelievable. So it was crazy. So the paramedics come, like the National Health Service paramedics come, They pump me full of laughing gas. So I'm numb to the sensation of them relocating my knee back into place. I end up at the hospital with Eugenia, who is just a saint, like truly the greatest. Until 2 a.m. Again, our flight to Geneva is the following morning, and I had to decide pretty much on the spot what I was going to do. If I was going to stay in London at her apartment by myself, which is on the 5th floor of a walk-up with no elevator and no roofing buzzer, which means I would have basically been trapped, flying back to the States or going to Europe. And I was too proud to cut my trip short, so I decided to go with them to Europe, and I just spent 4 days in the Airbnb in the French Alps. And that is my story. So I've been in physical therapy 3 times a week for the last 2 months.
Oh my God.
It's not that interesting a story. I just spent 8 minutes narrating it.
My favorite thing is
physical therapy.
My favorite thing is it's all for the Book of Mormon.
It's all for the Book of Mormon, right? Stuart, I went into shock, and I was so sweaty.
Oh my God.
I was sweating like a little pig on the floor, surrounded by all these English people, and the very old man whose feet I tripped over is just sitting there staring at me.
Oh my God.
Didn't say a word. Anyway. That's my story.
Oh
That's the
my
story
God.
of my winter.
Wow. Well, so safe to say you definitely didn't ski.
I absolutely did not ski. I'm so pissed. I literally flew to Heathrow with my 10-foot long coffin of a ski bag. I was so excited to ski. And you know what? Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, or so we tell ourselves.
I know. Well, actually, can I tell you that statement alone is like a perfect segue into what I was calling and I was going to ask you about. So the kind of third session of my podcast, there's basically 3 gossip sessions. And the third one, I call somebody in my life and ask them for advice rather than people calling me. Because who knows if any of the advice I'm actually giving is sound. But
it's never not been sound. Speaking of 18 years of experience receiving your advice. But anyway,
oh my God. Well, I was thinking about, and I also open the show where I talk about something that's just on my mind. And I was thinking to myself, how I wanted to talk on this episode about how it's okay to sort of let your dreams, quote unquote, die, even though that sounds really morbid, because I feel when I was growing up, I wanted to be an actor for so long. And then it's weird how life has sort of boomeranged entertainment back to me with podcasting. And you came to mind because I was thinking about when we were back in Wilmington during COVID, I feel like Foster Dade was in still manuscript stage, and you were sort of just thinking about I've got this manuscript, I've had this for a long time, how do I see it go anywhere? And I guess I just wanted to get your advice for me and also listeners, how to stick with something that has ultimately become such a success for you. And I feel like you knew in your bones that it was the story that you needed to tell, but it's so hard when you don't see the fruits of your labor happening instantly to stick with it. So how to just stick with a dream, I guess.
Sure. And when I said a few minutes ago that everything happens for a reason, I did not intend that to be a natural segue to the biggest point of life advice I would give to your loyal listeners, but it works out nicely. I will take this as an opportunity to thank you for playing tennis with me 4 times a week during the first 5 months of the COVID-19.
Oh my God, my pleasure.
It might single-handedly be the thing that kept me from burning my house down with my family in it.
Same, honestly.
But I mean, truly, and my gratitude for the unique place you occupy in my life has been true since we were teenagers, but that was a very, very difficult time for me, not least because the world was falling down around us. So, you mentioned that I was working on Foster Dade at the time, and that's absolutely correct. But there was another sort of biographical backdrop to it. So, we graduated from college in 2015, and I went to work as a journalist for Time magazine in Hong Kong and then DC for 3 years. which is the thing I'd always wanted to do. Like fiction writing is the thing I've always wanted to do, but journalism was always part of that. And at a certain point, I just got sort of frustrated intellectually and politically with journalism. In hindsight, I was in like a state of like mentally ill depression in like 2017, 2018. Also, I'm standing on the street and someone is driving by with very loud rap music playing. I'm so sorry.
And then it's going to be the Book of Mormon.
Can you imagine? I'd explode into a cloud of ash. But anyway, so, 3 years into my career as a journalist, against the backdrop of all this stuff happening in my personal life, I sort of had like a crisis of, not a crisis of faith, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to do journalism. I want to explore academia. I want to go, study the things. I was writing about politics. I wanted to go study politics and media, in an academic capacity. So on a total lark, I left journalism to go get a master's at the University of Chicago, which is basically sort of like a boot camp for people who wanted to go get PhDs but hadn't really planned on it while in college. So I finished my master's in 2019. And again, thank God for the power of editing, because I'm going to give you 20 minutes of unusable, nonsense.
No, that's amazing.
So I finished my master's in the fall of 2019 and I applied to PhD programs. I applied to, I think, 14 or 15 in the fall of 2019. And I was really, really excited. I loved my experience as a master's student. I was certain that academia was for me. I never once for a second doubted the decision to leave journalism. Deadline for PhD programs is usually in December, and decisions come out between like February and April. So I applied to 15 PhD programs, and between February and April of 2020, all 15 of them rejected me. So that happens. And then there's this strange virus that begins to percolate. And at the time, I was working as a ski lift operator in Park City, Utah, which is another story. The mountain shuts down because of COVID. I end up back home with my parents in quarantine, unemployed, with 15 rejections and no acceptances in front of me. And I was devastated. I was devastated and I was humiliated. I had made a decision to leave a very promising career to, veer out in this new direction. And this to me was the universe saying, am I allowed to curse? I don't know if I...
Oh, yeah.
This was the universe saying, you suck, right? So I was like, it was crushing. And, I didn't know what to do next. To me, this was academia saying, we don't want you. You don't have a future here. I, didn't have a pathway to journalism. Again, I'm home. It's COVID. What I do have is the novel that I had started writing about a year earlier, which emerged from a piece of short fiction I wrote as an undergraduate in the creative writing program at Johns Hopkins. I wrote a lot of these short stories in college. Most of them were absolute garbage. It's something about this one. It stuck with me. I had known since I left to go to boarding school that I wanted to write a story about boarding school. And this was it. And I started writing it about a year before. And I had no idea, what I was doing. I'd never written a novel before. I hadn't gotten a graduate degree in creative writing. For all I knew, it was absolute garbage, right? But I'm home in North Carolina, and other than our quad weekly tennis sessions, I had nothing tethering me to sanity. I needed something desperately to tether me to sanity. So I started writing. Right. I said, you know what? I didn't get into a single graduate program. I don't know what my future is like, but I have nothing better to do. I'm going to work on this book. And again, it was, to say it was a manuscript is very generous, because a manuscript implies completion. And, within a couple of months, I had 500 pages written. It was maybe 2/3 of the way done. But because there was no guaranteed future for it, because I had no idea if it was good or if it was absolute garbage, I didn't have any choice but to simply enjoy what I was doing day in and day out. And whereas for the last few years, writing had been something that had been totally professionalized for me and stripped of all joy, Here it was something I was doing in, the vacuum of my parents' house in North Carolina with no audience other than my own mind. I had no choice but to sort of rediscover why I'd fallen in love with writing in the first place. And I do remember talking to you about it. The essence of my points, because all I did was talk about myself, was like, I don't know if this is good. And what I didn't say, because I didn't have the courage to say it, was, I don't know if this is good. And if I find out it's not good, I truly have nothing left. I got rejected through graduate school. And I had this one thing that I always clung to, right? This idea that I could write. And so September of 2020 comes around, and I have 600 pages written. And on the total work, I send it to a literary agent in New York, which, by the way, is a total no-no. You do not send an unfinished manuscript to a literary agent when you were an absolute nobody, which I was. And my agent, Sloan Harris, and his assistant, Julie Flanagan, who is now an agent herself, they represent me together, are just like miraculous human beings. And they must be as insane as I am, because they read that manuscript, unfinished manuscript, and took a chance on it. So if I can bring this long, meandering, self-absorbed diatribe.
No, it's fabulous.
Sort of like concluding thesis, everything happens for a reason. I really, really do believe that, right? If I had gotten into graduate school the first time I applied, I ended up reapplying, getting to PhD programs the second time around. I'm now 5 years into my PhD, and I hate it. I'm so unhappy. But had I gotten in the first time, first of all, I would have started my PhD on Zoom, because the world was still shut down.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact I probably would have dropped out in 3 weeks. Secondly, if I had gotten to graduate school the first time, that would have preoccupied me that summer in the first year of COVID. I don't know that I would have gone to write my book. I don't know that I would have ever finished it. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And maybe that's just my brain, looking back at the traumas of the past and trying to ascribe some sort of meaning to them. But I really, really, really do believe that. And
I do too.
On the topic of life advice, there's another piece I'd like to give.
Yes.
And I began to touch on that when talking a moment ago about how amazing my agents are. And I'll do it again with respect to you. You have always had this like unshakable faith in me, which is insane, because I'm a nightmare. I am a hot mess. And, at a time when I was young and very insecure, a lot of self-esteem issues, it was one of those things that, it buoyed me, which is my way of saying to you, thank you. Which brings me to the second point. I can't speak today.
I can't either.
My second point. You are delightful as always. It brings me to my second point of life advice, which I think is more meaningful than the first, which is always say thank you. And always convey gratitude to the people who helped you get where you are.
Yes.
Right? Simply because, God, I'm going to sound like a Hallmark card or a fortune cookie, but you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Right? You never
so
know
true.
What's going to be tomorrow. And as a result of this philosophy of always saying thank you, I am so cringe and so sentimental, and I've never sent an email under 1,000 words long. But I really, really do believe that my mom has this saying, remember who brought you to the dance. Always remember who brought you to the dance. My God, I just monologued at you for an hour.
That was incredible.
I hope there's something with
there's so much
of usability here.
Oh my God. No, it's so weird because I don't know why I knew I had to talk to you. I knew it even yesterday when I was texting you, but I was like, I just know that I share that with you. I have such gratitude for sometimes going how the hell did I get here? How did I get into podcasting? I look at you and I'm like, oh my God, you had that fragment of your story and now it's going to be a television show possibly. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on air, but knock on.
Yes, you can. So you can definitely say that.
Okay.
It might not. They've made a pilot. It might not end up getting picked up.
Yeah. But it's turned into something it was something that I don't even think you could have fathomed the idea of it being a pilot television show when we were
definitely
playing
not.
tennis, you know? So it's just...
Definitely not. I couldn't even fathom it being a book. Right?
Yeah.
I certainly fantasized about it, but I never thought it had any semblance of like realism. But I'll say this though, right? Like talking about like how we end up in places that are unexpected. To me, like where you've ended up and your success has always been just like so freaking inevitable to me, right? Like I think that's one of the reasons I love where we grew up. I love people we grew up with, but like I always had a special connection with you because I was always like, this is someone who is just going to freaking like thrive, right? Like to me, you could have ended up as like the CEO of like an industrial sanitation company.
It's never too late.
I would have been like, it's never too late. I would have been like, of course she is, because this person is capable of anything. And anything she does, she's going to do excellently and hilariously.
Oh
and
my God.
Like, unbelievable poise. And, so it's funny, right? Like I remember I was talking to a friend once. This was like, because if you look at my resume from the last 7 years, it's like kind of, right? I was a correspondent for Time magazine, and a year later I was operating a ski lift. And my friend was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, she didn't say I was failing upwards, but like kind of. And, to me, I look at my own trajectory and I'm like, there's complete and utter chaos to it, and it makes no sense. But again, like, I really do believe everything happens for a reason. And, I see what you're doing today as every bit as true to not only your strengths and gifts, but aspirations as your, desire to act when you were in high school, once, right? We all, like, if you have gifts, and I'm not saying I have a single gift other than like being a wonderful father to my cats, right? If you have a gift and you remember that gift, the gift is going to take you where it needs to take you, even if the road on which it takes you there has unexpected twists and turns. Even if 15-year-old you would look at that road and be like, this is not how I envisioned the road taking me from A to B, right? Like if you told me at 13 or 16 that after 3 years as a correspondent for Time, I would say like farewell to that, I would have been like, you're insane. That's really depressing. But like, I would hope you would say the same. Like, I don't have any regrets.
No.
You certainly shouldn't.
No, I literally, that's so funny you say that, because I was saying at the beginning of this episode, I remember such a specific moment where Garrett asked me, you don't think you'd ever give up? Like when I was auditioning and I wasn't getting anything. And I remember saying so vividly, I would rather die than give up. Like I remember being so dramatic. And then now I look back and I'm like, thank God I failed, because it led me to where I am now, which has been like the most incredible wild ride. And I feel like that's probably how you look at your life a little bit as well.
100%, 100%, right? And on my more cynical days, I am really, really good at taking inventory, primarily of the failures. Right? Like I will never not be over getting rejected by as a 17-year-old, or again as a 23 and 25-year-old when I applied to graduate school, right? I will never not be over, not getting the New York Times internship that I applied for. There's a part of me that sometimes looks at the New York Times book review and says, it really sucks that they, didn't write a review of my book, that no major national publications wrote a review of my book. But I think like the reality is, like the more you reach for, the more inevitable failure is going to be, right? The higher you reach, like I don't know anyone who has aspirations who hasn't dealt with disappointments along the way, right?
Yeah.
If you haven't failed, you're not gunning for much.
Totally.
And again, like, and that's why, to bring it back to the everything happens for a reason thing, right? Like, even though, yes, on my most pessimistic days, I can dwell on the quote unquote failures, I don't look back at the last X number of years of my life and be like, this was a failure, full stop. Was it disappointing? Absolutely. Was it really hard in the moment? Absolutely. Am I mercifully humbler than I was as a result of it? Absolutely. Thank God. Still a lot of work to do on that front. And like,
no.
Do I regret where it took me? Like, not for a second.
Yeah.
Not for a second.
Oh my God. Well, last thing I'll just say to you, thank you for always having so much faith in me. I feel like that's another big piece of life advice. Surround yourself with people that believe in you, because I know it's really hard for me to believe in myself sometimes. But having people like you in my life has helped so tremendously. And I love and adore you. And I thank you so much for, I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, oh my God, your poor kneecap in 6 minutes. It's going to combust.
It dislocates again, as I'm saying farewell. Like, listen, I perform the persona of this like neurotic but charming, dorky little baby. The reality is I'm the biggest on the planet.
That's not true.
But oh, it's so true. It's so true. But you know, like what you told me, and I pray it's true, is that like what you and I share, the connection we share, sort of like defies the constraints of geography or time or whatnot. I sound like insane and really lame saying that, but like,
no, it's true though.
That like we have each other's backs, even when I'm shamefully terrible about checking in, which is something I'm guilty of with so many people. Like, since we were 14 years old, I've been your biggest fan and biggest champion. I just pray that, you know that every day, even though when we talk like we are now, all I do is talk about myself.
Hello, I'm interviewing you for my podcast. So that's the point.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh my God.
So proud of you.
Well, I love you so much. I cannot thank you enough for giving me your time today. And I adore you. And what I said is absolutely true. We could not talk for another 5 years. And I feel like I'd pick up the phone and go, Jim. And you'd go, Nancy.
I was considering addressing you as Nancy, and then I realized you probably have to explain that, which would take up the 30 minutes we just spent talking.
I know.
Listen, I have to run to physical therapy.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you so much. Thank you so much for coming on. Okay. Yeah. I love you.
Worst episode by
1,000
miles.
Not at all. It's going to be my best. I love you so much.
I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. I'll talk to you later.
Bye. Oh my God. That was, wow. Now, I will not get, my leg fell asleep, emotional again, but truly, honest to God, my friendship with Nash is really I don't even know how to describe it, like a manifestation of what I really want this podcast in essence to be. Nash for me was someone growing up that was the truest of friends. Like he said, such a champion for me. He had such faith in me growing up. And that sounds so kind of corny because we were like in 8th grade being little baby running around. But he has always been that person for me. And it's the type of person that I'm striving to be for my listeners on this podcast. And so if that wasn't a testament enough to his character, his kind of incredible story, you really ought to go check out his book, Foster Date Explores the Cosmos. It is incredible. And I just cannot believe that, honestly, that either one of us have kind of had the trajectories that we've had in life. But I think this episode really, the title of it maybe should just be, as cliche as it sounds, everything does happen for a reason. And I believe, especially in what he said about, every single failure is sort of, you can look at it as failing upwards, because without those failures, you're not going to get to the level of success that he has ultimately achieved, and that I hope I ultimately achieve, my dreams and my goals with this podcast. So with that, this might be a lengthier episode than I intended and a more emotional one, but I am so thankful that you're here. I'm so glad that you were listening. And until next time, keep on sipping and I'll hopefully stop talking so I get my voice back. All right. Bye, y'all.